In today's Totally True Bible story, we heard about a friend of Jesus named Peter. Peter was a super loyal friend, right up until he wasn't. Here's what happened. When Jesus lived on earth doing ministry, he had a dozen disciples who traveled with him. They heard Jesus teach, and they saw Jesus do lots of miracles, even raising someone from the dead. Jesus and Peter became best friends. But then Peter did something that friends are never, ever supposed to do. It happened like this. Jesus asked his friends, including Peter, to share a Passover meal with him in Jerusalem. Peter said yes, because that's what friends do. After the meal, Jesus asked his friends to go with him to a garden so they could pray. And Peter went, because that's what friends do. But instead of praying, Peter and the other guys fell asleep. Because sometimes friends do that too. When soldiers came to arrest Jesus, Peter stood up to help, but Jesus told him to not fight the soldiers. When the soldiers led Jesus away, Peter followed to find out what was happening. And then Peter did something that can hurt a friendship. When someone asked Peter if he was Jesus' friend, Peter said he'd never even met Jesus. 3 times Peter said Jesus wasn't his friend. 3 times. The Bible doesn't say if Peter was in the crowd watching when Jesus died on the cross, but if Peter was there, he didn't speak up. He didn't try to help. Instead, he turned his back on his friend, his best friend. And that's something that can end a friendship. 8 days later, Peter was gathered with other friends when Jesus appeared. Jesus was alive, just like he promised. Peter must have wondered what Jesus thought of him. Peter had pretended he didn't even know Jesus, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Friends don't treat each other like that. If a friend did all that to you, you'd find a new friend, right? Peter must have thought that's what Jesus would do too. But later, on a beach, Jesus treated Peter as a friend. Jesus even gave Peter an important job to do: help others know and love Jesus. Jesus forgave Peter. And if we ask, Jesus will forgive us for the wrong things we do too. Here's great news. God forgives you. You can be a friend of God forever.